Hey there, it's Elizabeth and welcome back to another video. So I just wanted to do a quick share of this junk journal that I made in a day. Yes, over the weekend. I'm not really sure when this is going to air. So on a Sunday, I was watching Hottie Popo and the Jersey Crafter, which is Susan and Laura, on their live stream. And while I was watching them, I made this journal. And this is going to my sister-in-law. As I said, I'm not really sure when this is going to air. I don't know. So I don't think she watches my videos. If she does, okay, you know what I'm saying? So this is made out of, let me just go get the book. So sorry. Okay. I made it out of one of these books right here, okay? The Young Children's Encyclopedia. And I cut the spine off, I gutted it, and then I increased the spine 1 inch and 3/4, okay? So then what I did was what I always do with these types of books, because they're kind of glossy in the finish, I took a piece of sandpaper after I cut right along this seam right here. I cut that off after I gutted the book. You know, I took all the pages out, took the covers off, right? So I just had the 2 covers, threw away the spine. And I then sandpapered the whole front of it to give it a little bit of tooth so that I could then put this pretty piece of scrapbook paper on, and I just glued it with a glue stick, and around the edges here I put Fabri-Tac. Now let me tell you, for this cover, okay, the scrapbook paper on here is very thin, and so I glued it with a glue stick to a piece of white cardstock. And then I took it to my sewing machine and sewed around it, okay, using a zigzag stitch. Then I glued it on, okay? So I glued it on all through here with a glue stick, and then around the edges, I used Fabri-Tac. Then I did use, let's open it up. I did use, let's get kind of to the center, okay, so I can show you the back. So this piece right here is a piece of vintage quilt, okay, that I purchased from Amour Fabrique, Selena. And so I took it, I cut it out to the length and the width that I wanted to. I just took a single stitch and stitched all the way around it. And then I glued on this pretty little heart lace, okay, on either side. So I stitched it around first, then I glued the lace on, then when I was all done with the book, I glued the entire thing on, okay? I edged around it with some yellow archival ink, put a, whatever this is called, eyelet, took some dyed seam binding and used as a closure, okay? Then on the inside here, I took the same heart trim, lace trim. This again is scrapbook paper. And so since the scrapbook paper is so thin, I backed it onto a piece of cardstock. Then again, I used a single stitch and stitched around it, and then glued it in with glue stick on the inside here and Fabri-Tac all along the outside. Then I took the little lace trim and put that on with Fabri-Tac, and then glued a blue piece of lace, vintage lace, on the inside. Now this book holds 3 signatures, 1, 2, 3. I can't remember how many pages each signature holds. It might be like, here's one signature, right? So it might be like 15 pages or something. But this, and I also did little pockets in it and things like that. It's not very frou-frou-ish, if you will. It is not that type of journal. My sister-in-law is a writer. She loves to write. And so I wanted to give her as many spaces as I could to write. So a lot of the pages are writing paper. These are my food coloring dyed papers on like note paper from a journal, and I'll put the link below if you want to see how I do the dyeing of my papers with food coloring. And then these are Molly and Rex journals that I take apart and use just for the paper. Again, this is mainly a writing journal, so it doesn't have a lot of frou-frou and pockets and tucks and tags and all that kind of stuff. She wants it for writing. Again, here is my dyed paper. And it goes on as such, okay? Lots of writing space. That's basically what it is. Here, I did add in a few little extra pages where she could, you know, staple in some whatever she wants, you know, whether it's pictures or ideas, or glue in something that she wants to glue in. And then more dyed papers. This is an extended sheet. If you watched my extended like my video on how I extend papers, I'll link that below as well if you missed it. This is how I did it. And so there's some graph paper. She wants to draw something. More dyed papers, more Molly and Rex papers, dyed papers. This is just a beautiful picture that I had. And so I wanted to add this into the journal. If she wants to cover it up, she can. If she just wants to have it as a beautiful picture, she can. On this side here, I extended the page by using some scrapbook paper and some washi tape and glued it, you know. And then more dyed papers, just a lot of writing surfaces, okay? So let's go back to the beginning here. Let's just count, okay? So here's a writing surface. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so I put 18 pieces of paper into each signature, and there are 3 signatures. You do the math, okay? 18 times 4 gives you how many surfaces you can write on front and back, all right? And then it just goes on like that. So let's see here. There's one signature here. Then I did the same thing for the second and the third signatures. I overlapped scrapbook paper so she could put whatever she wants to in a pocket if she wants things to save, or pictures, or whatever she wants to save. And then on she goes, right? More writing papers, more, just a lot of papers to write on. I love this dyed paper. And if you want to know how I do my dyed papers, check the link below. I'll have the link to that tutorial. More dyed papers, some graph paper, dyed papers, a lot of lined paper for her to write on, whatever she wants. This I got out of a book. And I just like the photo. I love how it says inspire, so I put that in there. Just beautiful pictures here, just to give her a little boost, you know, is some inspiration, if you will. And so she can either keep them the way that they are, or she can add something to them, whatever she wants. Just lined paper. This here can just, she loves music, and so if she wants to add you know, pictures on here, or cutouts of something, you know, that inspire her, she can use that for that. More writing paper, lots and lots of writing paper. And here's the center of the middle signature, and then on she goes, right? So, and then the last part of this, the second signature, it has a pocket right here, so she can put whatever she wants to in that. And then here again, another little pocket for the beginning of the third signature, and then just a lot of writing space. I don't intend on putting too many, you know, what I call frou-frou things in, not a lot of tucks, tags, and pockets and all that. I might make her a few, like hand watercolored tags, if you will, so that she can use those within the book. I did this entire book in one day, so it was just a matter of, you know, designing the cover and getting all of that together, the inside of the cover and getting all that together, and then just putting together the insides, you know, the innards of it. And it's just paper. It's just paper for her to write on, graph paper if she wants to draw something, clean paper, like blank paper if she wants to draw something, or music text if she wants to glue pictures in, or, you know, glue something and then inspires her. So lots of different space in here. And then in the back, I did the same thing. I put a piece of scrapbook paper and I backed it to a thicker piece of cardstock, glued it all together, and then glued it on with a regular glue stick and Fabri-Tac around the edges here, and then put this trim in here, this lovely vintage blue lace in here, put my little Never Hopeless Elizabeth Wallace on here, and then that's it. And then here is what the back looks like, right? And then so this is how it looks when it's open. Beautiful little quilted square on there. I love that. And she is a seamstress, so yeah. So there you have it, right? There is my junk journal in a day. I made this while I was watching Susan at Hottie Popo and Laura at the Jersey Crafter one Sunday, and I sat at my desk and watched their live and made this entire book. And it's just filled with luscious goodness, and I really hope she likes it. It's got 3 sewn in signatures. I sewed the signatures in before I glued the outside cover on. And if you'll notice inside, let's see, let's get to one of the, okay, right here is my book binding. My book binding tape that I use in all of my books. So I increased the spine. Again, I took one of these books, this is the Young Children's Encyclopedia, cut the covers off, expanded the spine to 1 3/4 inches. I'll also, well, there's always a permanent link in my description below of how I make my books. They're all the same. It doesn't matter what book you use, the idea, excuse me, is the same of how I do it. And along with expanding the spine and all of that good stuff, right? So there you have it. There is a junk journal in a day, and I will be adding a few little personal touches, but I don't generally decorate the cover because I want her to be able to take this wherever she wants to go. You know, if she goes to the coffee shop and wants to write, she can just take this with her, and nothing's gonna get ruined on the front. There's no 3-dimensional anything on here. This is just it, and she can just put it in her purse and go and write and create and do whatever she wants to do with it. So there you have it. There it is, 3 signatures, a lot of space to write and play in and glue and do whatever she wants to do with it. So I really hope she enjoys this, and it was really fun to make, and actually a fairly quick process. I mean, it did take me most of the day, but I got her all done and she's ready to go. And yeah, so I wanted to share that with you, and thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope y'all have a great day and a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.